everybody, and welcome to episode 82 of Nicole O's World Podcast. Welcome. I am your host, Nicole, also known as Nikki18229, almost everywhere on the interwebs. And I repeat, do not adjust your channel or your phone or device or whatever it is. It is me. I know that it's been a very long time since I sat down with you guys and podcasted. I will get into that, but you're not here for as to why I wasn't here. If you're a new viewer, thank you so much for checking me out, and I hope that you come back another week and give it a try again. If you're a new viewer, I have 81 other episodes that you can feel free to check out and get to know the podcast. I am actually calling this episode New Start. And I will dive into that in administrati. Alright, so we're in the administration portion of our podcast. So grab your favorite beverage of choice tonight, because in case you're wondering, today is February the 16th, 2020. And it is Sunday, and it is in the evening. If you're wondering what's in my mug, it's just some water flavored with Crystal Light. That's raspberry lemon. Nothing exciting. Normally, I would save this for the end of the podcast, but I'm going to put it in right now. If you're not interested in it, you can skip forward and go from there. If you're wondering, first of all, if you're wondering why I'm looking over here and my camera's here, it's because I'm recording on two devices in case one cuts out. But anyway, my main camera is here. If you're wondering why I haven't been around in a while, especially in all of 2019, it's basically because I've had a lot of health issues going on. I had 2 surgeries done in 2019. One of them was major. And I really didn't knit much in 2019 due to a problem with my hand. I had severe trigger finger in it. And I didn't knit at all. I spent a majority of the year after I had the surgery done in July. I spent a majority of the year in therapy recovering. So my knitting and crocheting took a back seat. And then I was having some other health issues, and I had to undergo a revision bariatric surgery in order to basically save my life. So I ended up having my gastric band removed, and I had it converted to gastric bypass. So in case you're wondering, when you watch past episodes, you're going to see me, but you're going to see a much heavier version of me. From now forward, you're going to be seeing me, but different. So anyways, that's the long story short. So let's get on with administration. All right. Where can you find the podcast? Well, you can find us on Ravelry under Nicole O's World Podcast. If you're not a member of the group, please join it. I know the group has been dormant for a while, and I want to get it back active. And I know you want it back active too, so come on over and let's get it going. Obviously, you found me on YouTube, so YouTube is another platform you can find the podcast on, as well as Facebook. Facebook, it is Nicole O's World Podcast. Instagram, I just created, guys, an Instagram page for the podcast under Nicole O's World Podcast. I don't have any posts as of yet. Any posts that I do create will be knitting, crocheting, spinning, weaving related. Probably mostly my works in progress photos, unless I get permission from any one of you to post your finished objects or works in progress. or if we have an along going on, I get permission again to post it. We also have a Patreon site now. I started a Patreon site, and it is Nickel O's World Podcast, or I believe it's Nikki18229. Either way, everything will be in the show notes and in the description below, and in the tab probably above my head somewhere. But if anything you can give to drop $1 or so in the bucket to help the podcast out would be much appreciated. I do this not because I have to, but because I want to, and I like to, and I like to share my hobby with you guys, and my successes, my faults, my adventure, my health journey. It's just life in general. As far as what's going on in the group, we do have an ongoing blanket along, which means I don't care when you started the blanket. I don't care if it's knitting, crocheting, weaving, sewing, quilting. Whenever you started, put it in. It's just a fantastic way to encourage us to finish our blankets, because blankets, honestly, they take a while. And encouragement goes a long way. A huge long way. I'm also starting a February finished object thread with Chatter. Any projects you finish in the month of February, go ahead and put them in. I don't care what they are. Feel free to post them. I also have the Ask Me Anything thread. If there's something that you would like to know about me, please feel free to ask me, or in the group, or if you do not wish to join Ravelry, you can always feel free to ask me via email at nickelosworldpodcast@gmail.com. And again, it's all going to be down below for you guys. Also, I will have in the group Patreon threads. So in case there's something on Patreon you would like to see or subscribe to, it will be there as well. That was a lot of administration because I've been gone for a while. So how about we get into the meat and potatoes, and let's go to what I have finished, shall we? Alright, what I have finished. I had 2019, if you want to see anything that I did in 2019, jump onto my Ravelry page, Nikki18229, and you can see what I made in all of January. I'm not going to sit here and bore you guys with that. If I show you an object, whether it's a work in progress or finished, and it was a gift, I will say it's a gift. And I don't like to say the price of it because I just don't. That's not me. So let's see. Let's jump into what I have finished. I finished this. It is called Nordic Delight Hat. It is by Nordic Stitches, and it's the Nordic Delight 2. It is a beanie, and the yarn that I use for this is Lion Brand Touch of Alpaca, and it is so soft and it is so warm. I started this back in December.
Nikki, do I have cold meat?
Alright, sorry about that brief interruption. I had to get Nana taken care of. For those of you who don't know, my Nana just turned 95 on Valentine's Day, and I'm her caretaker. I take care of her, and she woke up and wanted something to eat and went back to bed. Also had dog shenanigans, none of which you all care about, I'm sure. But in case you're wondering, he may make an appearance or he may not. I have a boxer named Z short for Zeus. And sometimes he likes to make appearances on the podcast with me or bark at me. But anyway, I'm digressing. Let's go back to finished objects. The first finished object I have is my Nordic Delight 2 hat. And it is a colorwork hat, as you can see. It is beautifully done. I love the pattern. It is a paid for pattern. And it is knit in Lion Brand Touch of Alpaca. It's alpaca mixed with acrylic, and it just worked up like butter. I cannot say enough good things about that yarn. Lion Brand, if you are listening, I wish you would make bigger quantities of it, because I would love to knit a sweater or a cardigan in it. Oh, it is so fuzzy and so soft against the skin. Some people say that alpaca is itchy, and I don't find it that way, but some of you may. But I absolutely loved it. If you're wondering what do my strands look like, this is what they look like all the way around. That is my color work. I am not ashamed to show it. You have an option to you could put a pom-pom on this hat if you wanted to. I did when I first made it. I just whipped up a handmade pom-pom that I knew when I put it in the washer. And in case you're wondering, you're just like, Nicole, you put Touch of Alpaca in the washer. Yes, I put it on my knit cycle on cold setting, and I just laid instructions that I could wash it in cold water. And I am going to apologize in case you guys might hear my grandma in there talking to herself. So I'm sorry about that. I can't help it. But anyhow, the pom-pom fell off. So I decided to go buy a pom-pom, and I bought one. I just didn't put it on yet. But this is what it looks like on. Sometimes I will wear it back slouchy. I'm not typically a slouchy hat wearer. Hang on, you guys. Hang on a second. There. Sorry about that. I just realized that my main camera, you couldn't see it, but I tend to wear a slouch. I'm not a slouchy hat wearer. I'm more of a, I like my ears to be covered and my head to be warm. But this hat, where I live in northeastern Pennsylvania in a tourist town. And so far, our winter has been very good to us. And it's just been cold, not much snow, even though I know we need the snow because that's what helps our water supply in between the rain. But anyhow, I love this hat when I go walking. I wear it when I go walking. I wear it when I go out. It just keeps my head warm. Alright, enough about this hat. I do have a project page on Ravelry about it, and feel free to check it out. Another pattern that I finished was by Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern. It's called the Barley pattern. Barley. Listen to me. It's called the Harvest Cardigan. Harvest, not barley. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Sorry. You would think I never podcasted before in my life, considering I have 81 other episodes. But it just shows you guys I am not perfect. I mess up and I'm leaving it in. Alright. It is called The Harvest by Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern. Huge amounts of downloads. People made it. Not downloads, but huge amounts of people have made it. I actually made this back. I literally casted this on a month before my bariatric surgery. Because I wanted to have a sweater to keep me warm, because I knew I was going to be cold as I'm losing the weight. And most people will think that that's pointless. You know, why are you putting all that time into a garment when you know, in fact, that it's going to get too big and you're either A, gonna rip it out and frog it and reknit it, or B, give it away to somebody. I did it for several reasons. One, I wanted to knit something in the size that I was basically 3 months ago. My surgery was on November the 25th, and I started this actually before November the 25th, but it was basically almost a month. But I wanted to have a cardigan in the size that I was 3 months ago, and I knew it would get big, and I knew it would just become one of those big sweaters that you could just wrap around you and keeps you warm. I could wear it over, I knew it would be a cardigan that would keep me warm, that I could wear over a long sleeve shirt and not have to worry that it was going to be too big, or worry that I'd look like I have sausage casings for sleeves. So here it is. The yarn that I used is Caron, or Caron, Caron, Caron. 1 pound. I used I want to say a ball and a half, but it will be in the show notes. Feel free to look. The pattern was very easy to follow, and I love it. The sleeves are long, which I wanted longer sleeves because I know if you wear a longer sleeve shirt underneath a cardigan that it gets bulky and can get pulled up. So I was okay, and I tend normally when I wear long sleeves that they go like right here. This is the back. Again, just a fun, I thoroughly enjoyed making this. This cardigan has gotten so much wear in the past 3 months. I have, when it's been warmer, I've worn it to go out places. I typically wear it in the house because I get cold a lot quicker lately. So I wear it in the house, or if I let my dog outside, I just throw it on to let him out. If I'm going out somewhere, either someplace or to a friend's house or something, I will tote this along with me. That way I can just put this on versus wearing my jacket. Would I knit this again in a smaller size? Absolutely. Would I knit it in the same color? Absolutely. Am I going to frog this? No, I am not, because this is going to be one of those sentimental pieces for me. I think as it gets bigger on me, I am still going to wear it because I absolutely love it. That is, oh, and there is one other project, 2 other projects. One is I take Craftsy, listen to me. Bluprint, they were formerly Craftsy. I have a subscription to them where I can take, is it personal, or where I can take as many Craftsy classes as I want. Craftsy Unlimited, no, Bluprint Unlimited. Oh my God, I keep calling it Craftsy, but you guys know what I mean, Bluprint. I took the class with Kat Bordy for learning how to knit a Mobius cowl or neck warmer. I did do that. I don't currently have it here with me, but I will show it next time on the podcast. I do have a page on Ravelry for it. I just haven't uploaded a photo yet. She does have a pattern on Ravelry that is free, and that is what I linked mine to because it's basically the same as the Craftsy class, except I knit a beginning Mobius. It was fun. Would I knit another one again? I don't know. And the last thing that I knit was the Yukon campfire hat, or toque. Is it toque or toque? Not sure how they say it in Canada. I want to say toque. But if you're from Canada, please correct me on how to say it, because I'm sure I butchered it. And that was by Liz Sutton. It was a paid-for pattern, which I thoroughly enjoyed knitting, and I'm going to put a picture in of it because it was a gift and the recipient has it. So here's a picture of it now. Alright, so yeah, it was just amazing to knit up. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The yarn that I used was scrap yarn. It was all Red Heart Super Saver 100% acrylic yarn. I know some of you that do not like acrylic are out there making faces, and well, I love all yarn, whether it's acrylic or plant-based or animal-based. I use it all. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. I would definitely knit it again. Now, that moves us to works in progress. Alright, works in progress. I have quite a few. It seems I want to knit all the things, but I'm not finishing. Alright, first up on the needles, in my homespun bag. If you guys do not follow the lovely Molly from A Homespun House, you really should. She used to make bags, as well as she makes her own handmade yarn. Not him. Dyes. I am so sorry. She dyes her own yarn. And her website is called A Homespun House, and do order yarn from her because it is just beautiful. Sadly, she doesn't make project bags anymore, so I hold on to this because it's very special to me. I bought this when she lived in Berlin, Germany with her husband, so this is like special. Anyhow, the pattern I am doing, it's a paid for pattern, and it's by K.F. Jones of the Bakery Bears podcast, and it is her Advent socks. Not sure if it's on Ravelry, but I subscribe to their Patreon page, so, and I'm a gold member, so the pattern was free for me. But I do believe you can go and purchase the pattern. I will put a link to it in the show notes. I'm still on the first sock. I actually cast this on back in December. I don't know what that was. Better pick it up then. I knit on it, and then I had to put it down. I wasn't feeling it. But anyhow, it's never too late to have a pair of Advent socks, is it? No. So here's what they look like. I just did the heel flap and gusset. I'm not a big heel flap and gusset person. I normally do fish lips kiss, and I normally do toe up socks. However, this year is all about stepping out of the box and out of my comfort zone, and I am doing cuff down, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this pattern. It is beautiful. I know you guys, I didn't bring my sock blockers, so it may not be showing up accurately on here, but it is just a beautiful pattern. And if you're wondering, I want to say these are my 2.5s. They're my Addy Flex tips. I know there's controversy. Some people like them. Some people don't. It's just a matter of preference. I happen to love the Flex tips. I will knit another pair of socks on them again. And the yarn is Deborah Norville Premier yarn. I don't remember what the base is. It is Stash yarn. I have since somehow lost the tags to it. Or did I? No, I didn't. I have a ball band. It's Premier Yarn's Deborah Norville collection in the Red Rojo colorway. It is an old yarn. I don't think they make it anymore. But I am thoroughly enjoying this. My next project is in, yes, it's living in a Christmas bag. I know. I'm just not changing it. This is going along as part of a craftsy class I'm taking, knitting on the bias with Bristol Ivy. I started this class last year and I had to take a break from it due to health issues with the hands. But I have been knitting on it. A lot of my projects that you're seeing, I put them in rotation, so every week they get different ones get working on. Yeah. You would not think I speak proper English. As each week I work on a different project, so they're all put into rotation. This is there is a free pattern on Ravelry for it, but it's linked to her Craftsy class, which is a paid for class. If you're wondering about the bag, in case you're inquiring, and here's what the inside of the bag looks like. This is a bag actually made by me. I sewed this up from some scrap fabric that I had. It was just scraps. As you can see, I call this my perfectly imperfect bag. This is a pocketses. I have a pocket here. It was just scraps that I just whipped up quick. Again, as I said, it's part of a Bluprint Craftsy. It still has the Craftsy logo, but it's Bluprint. That's the scarf. And again, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The first part of the class was to knit a cowl on the bias. I did that last year. It's in one of my previous podcasts, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Here is my scarf. I want to say I showed this on another podcast, but I'm not 100% certain. But this is where I'm at. You start down here, and then I'm just knit, well, knit and purl. As you can see, ooh, this is showing up good on camera. It is in like a broken stockinette pattern. That's my progress. And this is where I'm at. This is yarn from Stash that I had for years. This year is basically the year I knit from Stash. I don't think I have a ball band anymore. I do. I keep saying I don't think I do, and I do. This is Bernat. It's Bernat satin. I know they don't make this anymore because I looked it up. It's called Flamingo. And this was part of when Bernat did for breast cancer awareness. Don't ask me exactly when I got this. I got it when they still made it, when they came out with it. And, excuse me, it is 100% acrylic, 120 grams, 4.2 ounces, approximately 251 yards, and approximately 230 meters. So yeah. I'm sad because I really do wish Bernat would come back with their satin yarn, because this is a dream to work with. It's so soft and squishy. Those that do knit with Bernat, if you know, is there a substitute for the satin yarn? Because I really do love it, and I'd love to have a cardigan in this yarn, in this satin yarn. It's so nice. As far as the project goes, it's an easy pattern to knit up. It's nothing hard. It's nothing confusing. Her class is very thorough, and she goes over each pattern step by step. I am just on the repeat. Halfway done with this skein of yarn, and I have 2 more. I actually intend on using, it's 3 skeins total, and I actually intend on using all 3 to make this, just to use it up. And feel free to check the class out on Craftsy. Knit along with me with it. You want to. One of you out there see this and you really want to knit along with me on it. Feel free. Join the class. Knit along, because I'm going to start a link in the group. And you can even follow me on one of the forms of social media. And we can follow each other's progress. You want to. Alright. The next project I have is in another bag made by me. It is from another Bluprint class. I decided to take Laura Nelkin. I decided to take her Knit a Shawl 14 Ways class. It just intrigued me because I love to make shawls, and I'm fascinated by the shawls that I have knit, how the designers created them, and I'm like, I can do that. I get ideas in my head, I'm like, how? And so yeah, so one of the things she had one of the ones I chose to do as my first ones, because it goes in order, was a center out square shawl, except I had to up my game. I didn't want to just make a square shawl because honestly I never wear it, so I decided to turn it into a blanket. So here's where I'm at. Alright, let's see here. And the design element, again, it's all my own. It's knit in the round, in case you're wondering. But so it does not look very square at the moment. But I did that for like the center out, and then I went back to stockinette stitch. This yarn is yarn from my stash. I actually acquired it at a yard sale. I love yard selling, in case you want to know. This is some yarn by Hirschner's. It's 100% acrylic, and I'm not sure of the colorway. I know it's a Hirschner's yarn. I have the tag over there. And it's going to be yellow, and then I'm going to use a white and a teal color. But I am just having fun. Again, it was part of her shawl class, and I didn't want to just make this a shawl. I just had so much fun just knitting, that I was like, I'll just turn it into a blanket and use some stash up. So it's truly enjoyable. You will be seeing this off and on the podcast. And the needles are a US size 4, and they are my, I want to say they're Caspians. I know they're by Knit Picks. I've had them a long time. They're wooden. I just love them. They're part of my interchangeable set with Knit Picks. I am actually on my second skein of yarn. I had a full-size skein like this, and I am on my, this is my second one. Alright, and if you're wondering, that's what the inside of that bag looks like. And it is my perfectly imperfect bag. Yes, there's mistakes in it. To me, nothing is there's no such thing as perfect. And even the Amish put mistakes into their work because they believe they are not perfect. They believe there's one person perfect and it's not them, so they put mistakes in it. And I feel the same way, that I am not perfect. I don't strive to be perfect, nor do I want to be. And it has imperfections. It has imperfections. My last project is in here. I've been knitting on this for quite a while. I've had to give it many start overs till I figured it out. And the project is Stitch in Time Blanket by K.F. Jones. It is a paid for pattern. And this bag is a bag that I made as well. And it's a work in progress plus finished. So I'll show you the squares. Hopefully I get them facing the right direction. Here is block number 1. She has you knit them basically. I'm not giving any of the sauce away, but you'll see how it's made. This is number 1. And then this is my second one. And they're just fun to knit up. I really try to save the blanket squares to work on a Saturday or a Sunday, specifically a Sunday. But anywho, I am working on my second square. I'm putting the border on it. So here's what I got so far. Again, this is all just scrap yarn that I had, and I just picked colors that I thought would go well. I am actually basing my blanket off a quilt pattern. This is the quilt pattern I'm using. It's called the Friendship Star. But this is, I don't want to give anything away because it's paid for here, but that is the Stitch in Time blanket that Kay designed, and it's just a fun little knit. It's a perfect way to use up scrap yarn. It's all 100% acrylic yarn. It's yarn leftovers that people have given me. Alright, one camera cut out, so let's keep going here. Alright, we're going to keep working on the iPad, so I'm going to be uploading from 2 cameras. Alright, as I said, that's the back. This is the front. I've enjoyed knitting on this. I'm working on the border. It's a fun knit. As I said, I basically am basing it on a quilt. And it's just going really well. As I said, the yarn is scrap yarn. Either people have gifted to me because we did a swap, or they no longer wanted it and they were nice and gifted it to me so I could put it in my blanket, or it's just scrap yarn that I picked up at yard sales because people tend to sell their scrap yarn, or just yarn that somebody was going to get rid of, and I'm like, I'll take it, I'll give it a good home, because I give all yarn a good home. So yeah. My last working project, I have to go get, so hang on. Alright, my last project that I am working on, it is called Irish Coffee by Thea Coalman, also known as Baby Cocktails. And it is a free pattern on Ravelry. And I know this one has been knit up quite a lot. This is what it looks like. It is just beautiful. yeah, I don't want to show any more of the pattern because even though it is free, I still don't like to. I am knitting mine in some green yarn. It's Red Heart Super Saver. It is in my stash. Somehow I acquired a sweater quantities worth of St. Patty's Day or Patty's Day Green, I think it's called. But I have worked on this, frogged it at least 3 or 4 times till I got this right. But here is, and it's not the designer's fault, it is the knitter's fault. Because evidently I forgot, in order to lose, I only needed to lose 1 stitch. So silly me went down a needle size and I couldn't figure out why I didn't have enough stitches on my needles. And then I realized I had to go up a needle size. So here I am. These are on 5mm needles. I am on Yoke Island. I am knitting the yoke. I am increasing, and it is just I'm ready to be off the yoke and start on something else, but it is a nice little knit. I don't know why I have gaps. I'm just going to, like, those gaps when I'm done, just sew them up. Or maybe they'll just disappear. No, they won't disappear into my knitting. I am disappointed by the gaps in my yarn. I don't know why. It happened when I did the increases, the make ones. So what I'll just do is I'll just sew it. It's no big deal. Just go and just mend it in and call it a day. So yeah, that is everything that I have been working on. The bag, it's not a bag I made. It's a bag by Dexcom. If you're wondering what Dexcom is, it's a continuing glucose monitor. And I am one of their Dexcom warriors. And I got a bag for them, Keep Calm and Carry Dexcom. And if you're wondering what a continuous glucose monitor is, if you're diabetic, you have to check your sugar. And some of us have to check it a lot, or some of us, like myself, have no symptoms. Don't know when we're high, don't know when we're low, and finger sticks are way too many, so we're a device that continually monitors our sugar. Alright, that is all my works in progress. So I am going to end the podcast because it is obviously long enough. I tend to try to keep my podcast about 30 minutes. 30 to 45 minutes, maybe a little longer if I add some life stuff and some travel and shenanigans, which I will be adding some of that in here in the next future podcasts that you guys can let me know. And also let me know which you like, if you like the quality better on my iPad or the GoPro camera. So I am going to let you guys go and go about your day. I hope you enjoyed sitting down and spending some time with me. And I will talk to you guys again next week. So until then, be good, have fun, live life. You know you will be back. You want to come back already. You're waiting for it. I know I am. I know you are. And I know you're going to join the Ravelry group and check out the Patreon page and our show notes. So until next week, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.